What's up, everyone? Morey Croson, he's Japanese, something like that. So somewhere, could be Korean, somewhere over in that side of that part of the world. But anyway, I think that how Wade runs is very interesting, and the reason I say that is because of his arm movements. And the more that we go into really breaking down the stride and how you want to run, the more you could see the importance of using your arms correctly, using your legs correctly, and what the best do, and how to really perform at the highest level. So what we see here with Wade is as he's coming around the turn, you can start to see him kind of straighten everything out. And he's really good with that right arm. That right arm kind of goes straight back, but then his left arm kind of goes a little bit more kind of out to the side. And he actually uses his left arm more to like straighten his body out. Okay, so he really only rotates to his right side, but then on that left arm he just kind of goes straight back. And so what he essentially is doing is he's using a lot more of his left lat as he's running, and then also on the right side much more of kind of like the right pec, right anterior delt, and that helps him in creating acceleration. I'm sure that really helps him on the turns, and that's really a big part of the race. Obviously, is having that left arm kind of move like that makes it so you don't have to lean as much in the spine during the turns, and can help you kind of stay a little bit more upright, so he doesn't have to really adjust too much as he's going through. So I think that's kind of an interesting part of his run. I like seeing him when he's going kind of full speed here at the end, just because you could see how he is such a power-driven driver or power-driven runner. So he is really utilizing his pull back in his arm to really help him in getting long strides. So when he's pulling back here with that right elbow, he's really trying to reach out with that front right leg, and then vice versa here. When he's really pulling back with that left elbow, he's really trying to reach out with that left leg, and that's what really gets him going as he gets to the end parts of the race, is that he really has that long stride. You could see how much extension, or sorry, I guess how much flexion he gets in that front knee as he's running. You could see him really be able to reach all the way out, and you can kind of compare him to the other guys and how he's getting so much more distance on each one of his steps, and he's really opening up that stride, right? You could really see how it's working for him. And again, I think the big reason he's able to do that is because of how much arm swing he's generating, especially out of that left elbow. I know that's not necessarily the most efficient way of running is to have those elbows going out to the side, but in terms of why it helps him is he's getting so much oblique activation. See how much rotation he's getting, and really when it comes to when I go into throwing and looking into pictures and stuff like that, it's a lot about rotation. It's a lot about how well you can create power in that mid part of your body, and you can compare them to the other two guys, the guys that are in second and third, and notice how they're much more just kind of straight running, right? They don't have a lot of movement going on in their trunk. And then you can compare that to Wade and what Wade's doing, and it's crucial. It's the end part of the race. He's using a lot of spine rotation in order to generate those wide steps. You can see how much he's rotating. I mean, really, it's primarily rotation to his right side and then going back to the beginning. Right side, then back to the beginning. And he's using that to really power each one of his steps. And so what it ends up being a big combination of core and oblique strength, as well as that ability to really drive back with those elbows, especially when it comes to those longer distance runs. So, I think somebody that is in the 400 meters, even in the 200 meters, you guys could really take some good information away from this, and how you can get more power at the end of the race, which is really by being able to get a little bit more movement in those shoulders, a little bit movement through that trunk and core, and really use those obliques to help you in getting that stride. I mean, he also does a good job, just like anybody else does that has that good knee drive, is right after he pushes off. He takes a little bit too long, I would say, in the air. And that's why I would say that he's not going to be an elite 100-meter guy, is because, I mean, he's probably in the top, obviously, but in terms of being Olympic world champion, he probably won't be able to get there because he gets his feet a little bit stuck behind, and that's kind of an issue. But he's able to get that knee up to all the way up to, or sorry, his heel all the way up to his butt, and then he really drives out. And because he pushes more upwards off that back foot, it allows him to really open up that stride. So for him, it ends up working out because he picks up so much more ground than all the other guys. His steps are a lot longer because of how much rotation he's getting, and also how efficient he is in like the mobility of the lower body. So yeah, that's a quick breakdown here of Wayde Van Niekerk. I mean, one of the best right now 400-meter runner in the entire world. Some interesting notes of how you could really take what he does as a 400-meter runner and put that into substance. And I think really connecting with that core. You can't go all over the place with the core and shoulders, but I think if you're not using your core, not using your obliques, not using your shoulders in order to help your leg drive, especially in that last 150 meters, I think you're losing part of the race. And I think you could really you could utilize that more to help you get through that last 150 meters. So, and again, I think that left arm being the one that kind of goes out a little bit funky helps him with that spine angle. That could be something to play with. I don't know exactly what your form is like, but it could be a good option. So, as always, thanks for watching these videos, guys. We really appreciate it. If you have any recommendations, we'd be happy to take those. Always love getting any type of recommendations. Also, if you want to learn any more, we have a full online membership. Just go and check out our website, performancelabcalifornia.com/members. And then also, if you want to do any type of speed breakdown, your 100 meter, 200 meter, 400 meter, whatever the case may be, we do speed breakdowns. Just send me an email, Morey, M-O-R-E-Y, at yourperformancelab.com. Ask for more information, and we would be happy to get you going there. That comes with the speed breakdown, just like this, what we did here, as well as exercises. We'll go and get on a phone call. We'll make it so you can get as much value as you can. This has really been something that people have been taking advantage of, especially guys that aren't in the LA area. Is really learning some stuff about how they can take this information or really utilize the focus on mechanics to make it so their own speed improves. So as always, guys, thanks for watching these videos, and we will see you soon.